This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So am I audible? Hello, good morning, everybody. Hello.
Hi, you're audible, sir.
Okay, thank you. So today we will continue about firearm injuries. So previous class we have looked into what are the parts of the firearm. We have looked into few items. What is uh, a primer, firing pin, what is the barrel, and then we have looked into the classification of the firearms, where they are broadly classified into a rifled firearms and a smoothbore firearms. A rifled firearm is a firearm where there is rifling inside the barrel of the gun, and then smoothbore firearm is one which doesn't have the rifling inside its barrel. And then we have different types of rifled firearms, and then between this rifled and smoothbore, rifled is more lethal weapon than the smoothbore firearm. So examples of rifled firearm is pistol, revolver. We have rifled firearms which are used carried by the police men, long one, and then the security persons. So all these are rifled firearms. Smoothbore firearms are the firearms which are used to fire moving objects, mostly a birds, if a bird which is flying or an animal which is running, even in case of so riots also. So even in an enemy country where people are moving, then also these smoothbore firearms are fired, in which it contains lead pellets instead of bullets. So today we will look into the various aspects and the anatomy of the bullet and the anatomy of the cartridge, how, and then the composition and the mechanism of how they are acting. So cartridge, what is the difference between a cartridge and a bullet? So cartridge is the whole part. The whole part is what we call it as cartridge, and sometimes it is called a round. So mostly in newspapers, you might have heard that the police has fired about 3 rounds. 3 rounds means they have used the cartridge about 3 firings. So cartridge called a round when it is loaded within the gun. It is a single unit comprising of 4 components. So cartridge contains 4 components: the case, which is shell; number 2, the projectile, which is the bullet in case of rifled firearms, and pellets in case of smoothbore firearms; and number 3 is a propellant, which is nothing but the gunpowder; and number 4 is a primer. So the cartridge contains 4 components: the case or shell, the projectile, which is either bullet or pellets, bullet in case of rifled firearm, and then pellets in case of smoothbore firearms, and then the gunpowder, which is a propellant, and then the primer. So cartridge, another some of the other components of the cartridge are: we have cartridge case, which is nothing but the shell, and then we have the percussion cap, we have the primer, we have the propellant, which is a gunpowder, we have the projectile, which is bullet or pellets, and then wad. The wad is only present in shotguns. It is not present in rifled firearms. So this is the cartridges shapes. So you can see there is a straight one, and then this is a bottleneck cartridge, and this the third one is a tapered cartridge. So these are the, just to know the names and shapes of the cartridge: straight, bottleneck, and tapered. So this is the whole cartridge. You can see. So I told you what is the difference between a cartridge and a bullet. You can see here the terminal part, the terminal dark copper color is what is not the bullet, and then the rest of the thing is the cartridge. So the cartridge contains the bullet, so the whole thing will not move when the firearm is fired. It's only the bullet that will move, and then the cartridge will fall at the feet, or it will fall, or it can stay in the firearm, or it can again eject by itself by automatic ejection, and then it will, the cartridge shell will fall nearby the firer only. So only the bullet will move forward, and then the cartridge case will be falling on the feet or falling near the feet of the firer, or sometimes if it is not an automatic ejection firearm, it will stay within the gun barrel. So the whole thing you can see here. So there are different types of cartridges. You can see there is a round nose, there is tapered nose. So the top ones, the top which are dark colored is the bullet, and then the rest of the copper colored is the case or the cartridge case. So which contains the gunpowder. So you can see this is the anatomy. So first is the percussion cap. Percussion cap is a cap where the firing pin will hit the primer. What is a primer? A primer is nothing but an ignition point where by mechanical force, if the primer is hit with a mechanical force, it will produce a spark. So primer is nothing but it is a chemical composition which has some potassium nitrate. We will see what is the composition of primer and everything. So primer is nothing but which will create spark when it is hit mechanically. So it is known as primer, and then whenever the spark is produced, it will ignite the gunpowder which is present inside. You can see the gunpowder and brownish color, and then this gunpowder will cause ignition, causing producing a lot of gases, and this large amount of gases which are covered in a very small space, it will cause the bullet to move forward with a high speed. So this is the normal mechanism of how the bullet will move forward upon firing. So we can see the yellow one is the case, cartridge case, and then this black one is the bullet, and then one more is called jacket. So there are some things called two types of bullets are there, which are jacketed and unjacketed. Jacketed means the bullet is covered with a copper and nickel shields, so that it will stay as a unit. Suppose if there is a lead bullets, lead jacket or unleaded, unjacketed means these bullets can cause erosions by traveling through the barrel of the gun. Thereby, it will leave fouling of the barrel of the gun. So that's why they will cover the bullets with the jackets. So that is called bullet jacket. So bullet, the black color, and then the bullet jacket. Then we have the case. Then we have the gunpowder. This canalier nothing but is just an indentation to mark the difference between the bullet and the gunpowder. And then we have the vent. Vent is a small opening between the gunpowder and then the primer, in which the primer, after producing the spark, it will go through the vent and then it will ignite the gunpowder. So then we have this percussion cap where the firing pin will hit the primer, and then we have the extraction groove where upon after firing the cartridge, we can remove it from the barrel of the gun by this extraction groove. So again, this is another model. You can see This fourth one, this third one is known as the rim of the cartridge. And then number 4, it is known as the primer. And number 2, it is known as the gunpowder. And then number 1 is the case or the shell, the cartridge shell or cartridge case. And then this whole thing is known as the bullet. And then number 6 is the case mouth. So on this case mouth, the bullet will sit on it. And then we can see 8 is, we call it as cannulae. No need to remember it. Cannulae is nothing but these are some of the elevated projections or rough surfaces where in order to it will contain lubricants so that it will lubricate while the bullet is traveling through the barrel. So these are some of the parts of the cartridges. And this is, so all these previous, this one is a cartridge with a bullet which is used in rifled firearms. Even this one is also a cartridge with a bullet. You can see in the top one. So the entire thing is a cartridge with the terminal part is known as the bullet. And then here we have the cartridge with pellets, which is used in smoothbore firearms. So you can see here. So again, we have, you can see the third one is the rim, and then the fourth one is the primer. And we have inside, you can see here the gunpowder. Number 2 is the gunpowder. And you can see here, we have 60 the wad. You can see here in the diagram C. So diagram A is what the inside of the cartridge will look, and diagram B is how a cartridge will look outside. Means when you're holding the cartridge, it will be looking like that. So it will it is made up of a cardboard, and then even the base, the copper or alloy, nickel alloy can be used for a metal wrapping. And then number 3 is what after removing this case shell, you can see the third one is the rim, and then the fourth one is the primer, and then we have the gunpowder, which is number 2, you can see. And then you can see here number 5 is known as wad. Number 5 is known as a wad. Here you can see here number 5 in diagram A is a cardboard. Here is a cardboard, and then number 7 is a cardboard. So it is differentiating. 6 is the wad, we call it as a wad. Well, we will see what are the functions of wad, and then what it will does in a case of smoothbore firearm, we will see. And then the entire 8 is the pellets. You can see small pellets, lead balls, mostly lead balls are used. And then the top one is the closure of this. So this is how it looks in case of cartridge used in a smoothbore firearm. So the gross anatomy for both are the same. Only thing is, in rifled firearms we use bullets. In case of smoothbore firearms we use pellets. And then in case of smoothbore firearm cartridges, we have another entity called wad. Wad is something which is used for pissioning. So in order to push the pellets a little greater velocity, and then it is used as a lubricant, and also it is used as a piston. So then we will see what are the uses of this wad in case of smoothbore firearms. Primer. So what is a primer? Primer is a shock sensitive explosive mixer that ignites when struck mechanically. So primer is a shock sensitive explosive mixer that ignites when struck mechanically. Primer, it can be easily remembered by the word blast. So blast, B stands for what the primer contains. So what is the composition of primer? It can be remembered by the word blast. B, barium nitrate. L, lead peroxide. L, lead stiphanate. A, antimony sulfide. T, tetrazine. So blast, so there will be double L. and then S is not there. So again, remember blast, and then you can say barium nitrate, lead peroxide, lead stiphinate, antimony sulfide, and tetrazine. So this is the composition of primer. What is a propellant? Propellant is a material that is burnt to propel ammunition. Ammunition is nothing but any moving part or any firearm is known as ammunition. So a material that is burnt to propel ammunition. So it is nothing but the gunpowder. So the gunpowder, it can be of black gunpowder or smokeless powder or a combination of two. So there are three types of gunpowders. One is black powder, number two smokeless powder, and number three it can be a combination of the two. What is black powder or gunpowder? Black powder and gunpowder composition has been asked as an examination question, as a 2 marks question. So, and then it has been asked many times in a Viva question also. So what the composition of black powder and gunpowder? It is a mixture of potassium nitrate, which is of 75%, charcoal, and then sulfur by weight. So black powder and gunpowder is a mixture of potassium nitrate, which is accounts for about 75%, and then charcoal 15%, and then sulfur 10%. What are the functions of each of these composition? Potassium nitrate gives oxygen for burning. Charcoal is used as a fuel, and sulfur helps in ignition. So potassium nitrate gives oxygen for burning, charcoal is the fuel, and then sulfur helps in ignition. The powder grains are black and may be coarse or finer, and it is designated as FG, double FG, triple FG, 4FG, like that, depending upon the size of the grain. So the more the number of Fs, the finer the grain. So this black powder, so based on the number of Fs, the finer the gunpowder will be there. So 1 gram of black powder produces about 3000 to 4000 cc of gas. 1 gram of black powder will produce about 3000 to 4000 cc of gas. It will produce more unburnt gases and more smoke. The gases formed are carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen, and then methane, etc. So this is some of the gases that are formed once the black powder or gunpowder is fired or is burnt. So what is smokeless powder? Smokeless powder is sometimes it is a misnomer, because completely we cannot avoid smoke whenever a firearm is burnt. But we can say that mostly it will be reduced when you use a black powder, a black gunpowder. The smoke produced is very high. If you use a smokeless powder, then the smoke produced while firing is very less. So smokeless powder, it consists of 3 bases: single base, double base, and triple base. Single base where nitrocellulose alone is used, double base where nitrocellulose and then nitroglycerin is used, which is double base, and triple base is nitrocellulose, nitroglycerin, and nitroguanidine. So single base, double base, and triple base. Single base only nitrocellulose, double base nitrocellulose and nitroglycerin, triple base nitrocellulose, nitroglycerin, and then nitroguanidine is used. So here 1 gram of smokeless powder produces, you can see the amount of gases that is produced here. So about 12,000 to 13,000 cc of gas, whereas in case of gunpowder it is only 3 to 4,000 cc. And then the powder burns with a bright orange flame. Semi smokeless powders also it is there. It consists of about 80% black powder and 20% smokeless powder. Again, this is the anatomy. This is the internal view of the cartridge, which is used in smoothbore firearm. We can have this. There is a case. There is a cartridge case, and then we have the percussion cap at the base. We have anvil is nothing but a indentation. It is nothing but an indentation which is present at the primer region and at the opening vent. So, and then we have the primer. We have the metal ring covering the base to give a support, and then we have the gunpowder. We have cardboards, and then felt wad is nothing but simply wad, and then we have the cardboard to cover the pellets, and then we have the pellets at the top. So whenever the firing pin will hit the primer, it will ignite, it will produce, the primer will produce a spark, and then this spark will ignite the gunpowder that is present above it or in front of it, and then this gunpowder will produce a lot of amount of gases, and these gases will push the cardboard, the wad, and then again the cardboard. Thereby the entire thing will go, and then it will push the pellets forward. So the purpose of wad we will see how, because if this wad is not there, then if this wad or these cardboards are not there, then the pellets will not able to reach far away, and then there is no diversity to that. They will topple easily, they will fall very in a few meters distance, they will fall away. But if we have this cardboard and wad, then they can have a greater velocity and they can reach far away, hitting the target. So this is the two types. You can see one is a cartridge with a bullet, which is used in rifle firearms. On the right side, we have a cartridge with pellets, which is used in smoothbore firearms. So what are the functions of WAD? You can see this is a WAD which is shown. So it is orange color. It is a piston type where it will cause some cushioning effect. So the functions of WAD are, first one is obturation. Obturation we have seen previously. What is obturation? Obturation means where once the firearm is fired, the whole gases should not leak from either side of the gun or either side of the bullet, sorry. So once the bullet is totally fitted exactly without any leaks, air gaps in the barrel of the gun, so that the gases can push the bullet forward completely. Suppose if the bullet is loosely fitting into the barrel, then definitely the gases will be traveling on either side of the bullet. So it will causing the force of the bullet to decrease. So in order to have a greater amount of velocity to the bullet, then the bullet should be exactly fitting to the barrel of the gun so that the whole gases can push the bullet forward. So obturation is where there will not be any leakage of gases on either side of the bullet, and then it is used as a shock absorber. It is used as a piston for a shot. It is used as a lubricant, where sometimes it is used, the lubricant grease is there around it so that it will lubricate the barrel and lubricate the cartridge also, and then to protect the powder from the grease soaked wad. So that is also one more. So these are some of the functions of wad: obturation, shock absorber, acts as a cushion, and then lubrication, and then to protect the gunpowder from grease soaked wad. Pellets. So pellets are made up of lead. So large pellets are known as buckshot, whereas small pellets are known as birdshot. So large pellets are called as buckshot, or it is also known as mold shot. And the cartridge contains, each cartridge contains about 9 to 12 such pellets, and the diameter of each pellet is about 6 to 8 mm. Smaller pellets are known as birdshot, and their cartridge contains about 300 to 400 pellets, and their diameter is about 1 to 3.5 mm. So we have pellets which are made up of lead. Two types of pellets. Small pellets are known as birdshots. Large pellets are known as buckshots. Small pellets are of size of 1 to 3.5 mm. They are of, each cartridge contains about 300 to 400 pellets, whereas large shots have about 9 to 12 only, and then each diameter is about 6 to 8 mm. Bullets we have seen in a rifle weapon, the projectile is a bullet, whereas in case of smoothbore firearm, the projectile is a pellet. So bullets are of different sizes and shapes, such as they're conical, there can be blunt boosted or pointed. You can see these are the some of the types of bullets. Types of bullets sometimes can be asked as a question. It has been asked in university examination, 2 marks question. Any type can be used. So we'll see what are the different types. You can see different types of these are the different types of bullets and cartridges. There can be flat nose, they can be pointed, they can be somewhat rounded. So all these things are different shapes of the bullets and different sizes of the cartridges. So these are different type shapes of the nose. You can see this is a hollow point, rounded nose bullets, spire point bullets, wad cut bullets, and then semi wad cut bullets. These are some of the names. No need to remember all these things, but you have to aware of these names. So these are some of the bullet types based on the shape of the heel, shape of the base or heel. It can be flat based, it can be boat tile, it can be repeated boat tile, it can be dish based, cup based, hollow based, and heel based. So these are some of the types of bullets. The first one is hollow point bullet. Hollow point bullet is the one which has a pit on the nose. So you can see here, this is a bullet, and then at the tip of the bullet, you can see there is a hollow inside the bullet. So this is called as hollow point bullet. Dum-dum bullet. This dum-dum bullet has been asked many times in the examination. It is one which is open at the nose to expose its lead core. So it is nothing but it is a subtype of this hollow point bullet. Because why this hollow is created in the tip of the bullet is whenever it strikes the target, the leaflets will be opened so that it will cause more damage at the target organ. So one such type is dum-dum bullet. So immediately, because the name dum-dum is there, it is produced in Calcutta, a place called Dum-Dum. So that's why they gave the name dum-dum bullet. Is one which is open at the nose to expose its lead core, immediately balloons out on impact with the target, thus increasing the damage. When it strikes on the target, the lead will expand and produce a larger entrance wound. So you can see this is the dum-dum bullet. You can see all this. There is a pit in the bullet, and then whenever it strikes the target, these leaflets will open it, and then the lead inside will open, it will expand, thereby it will increase the damaging power of these bullets. Next one is frangible bullets. Frangible bullets are bullets which break into multiple pieces when enter into the body. So this is also one more entity in order to cause more damage at the target organ. Frangible bullets are bullets which break into multiple pieces when enter the body. So you can see here the bullet is there when it is hitting, and then it is breaking into pieces. Next one, incendiary bullets are exploding bullets. Incendiary bullets are exploding bullets are which have white phosphorus and cause fire and heat in the tissues. So the bullets contains white phosphorus, and then when they are hitting the target organ, it will cause fire, and then it will produce heat and destroying the tissues. They are known as incendiary bullets or exploding bullets. Next one is souvenir bullets. Souvenir bullets is one which has been lodged in the body for a long time without causing ill effects. So these are some of the things where even every bullet that has been shot in the human body need not be removed, because some of the bullets or pellets, when they are lodging, they will be lodging inside the bone or inside an area where it cannot be reached to the normal inflammatory response. So they will be lodging there, and then they will not be affected by the bullet surviving there inside the body. So even when the bullet is there inside the body, they don't have any ill effects because of the bullets, because the bullets are in a place where the bullet has been not reaching for the normal inflammatory response, or the bullet is not evolving or exciting any inflammatory response in the body. So they stay there for years together, maybe 10 years, and then it will not cause any effects on the body. So they are known as souvenir bullets. Souvenir bullet is a one which has been lodged in the body and then it has stayed for a long time without causing any ill effects. Rubber bullets. Rubber bullets are used mostly control the riots. So whenever there are strikes or any large group of people, so the police will use these rubber bullets, but sometimes it can be fatal also. Sometimes if they are hitting the eyes and very sensitive parts, it can cause damage, may cause fatal injuries when fired from a close range. So rubber bullets are used to control the riots. Next one is tracer bullets. What are tracer bullets? These are the bullets which leave a color in their path. So because we can know by this method, we can know whether we are hitting the target or not, because we can know the path of the bullet that is going to travel. So tracer bullets are bullets which leave a color in their path. So contain a powder in their base that burns very brightly during their flight. This enables the shooter to follow the bullet's trajectories so he can adjust his aim accordingly. It is used both in ground as well as aircraft guns. These bullets contain barium nitrate, magnesium, strontium nitrate, and some other products. So these are the tracer bullets where it will burn at the back of the bullet and then it will hit the target. So that if you want to adjust the path, if you want to adjust the target, then we can easily see this trace. We can easily know this trace and then we can adjust based on the thing by the shooter. So why the bullet is burning means because of the barium nitrate, magnesium and strontium nitrate, and then we can know the path of the bullet causing these tracer bullets. Next one is tandem bullets. Tandem bullets also have been asked many times in the examination. It is also known as piggy tail bullets. Piggy tail bullets is where two bullets are coming simultaneously at the time. Instead of one, two are coming. So that's why it is called as tandem bullet. Tandem means one after the other. So one bullet gets lodged in the barrel in the previous firing and then dislodged with the second bullet in the subsequent firing. So suppose if the bullet is fired and because of the cleaning of the barrel and because of the wear and tear, sometimes the bullet will not go out. It will stay within the barrel. And again, when the second bullet is fired, both these two bullets will be going out of the barrel. So this is known as tandem bullets or piggy tail bullets. You can see here at the tip there are two bullets here. In the diagram you can see here there is one bullet here and then behind this is one more bullet, and then all these things are gases that are produced, and then here you can see the barrel here. So piggy tail bullets are tandem bullets. Next one is ricochet bullet. What is a ricochet bullet? The bullet which changes its direction by striking on some surface or object. So before hitting the target, if it is hitting any other surface, then we call it as a ricochet bullet. So bullet changes its direction by striking on some surface or object before hitting the target. There may be two types. There may be external ricochet or internal ricochet. External ricochet occurs when it strikes on some intermediate object before entering the body. Internal ricochet occurs inside the body by touching the bone. So whenever there is any intermediate object, that is if the bullet is striking any intermediate object before hitting the target, then we call it as a ricochet bullet. It is of two types. One is external ricochet internal ricochet. External ricochet is nothing but when it's outside the body and if there is a one intervening or intermediate object. And then internal ricochet is when the bone hits, if the bullet hits inside the bone and then it will turn the direction, then we call it as internal ricochet. So here you can see in the diagram, so the person has been firing and then unfortunately it has hit the roof and then it has hit the head part of the person. So this is known as ricochet bullet. So this is there is where instead of directly firing the person, so normally it is seen in some of the movies you can see, where I have seen in one article or one book where a person, a shopkeeper, has taken some money from other money lender and then the shopkeeper has not given money for a long time. So this money lender wants to threaten the shopkeeper for money. So one day he went to his shop and then he took out his gun and then he threatened the shopkeeper to give the money. So in order to just to threaten the person, he has fired the gun in the air. So he has not pointed the gun to him. So he has fired the gun to the air, but unfortunately, the bullet went and hit the iron bars, yeah, on the roof, and then it has ricocheted back, and then it has hit on the vertex of the person who is sitting there, the shopkeeper. So this is a typical example of ricochet bullet where even for threatening, his intention is not to kill that person. His intention is just to threaten that him. But he has fired it. Unfortunately, the bullet has hit the iron bars and then it was ricocheted back and then hit the person there. So this is known as ricochet bullet. So you can see this is internal ricochet. So you can here you can see in number one there is single ricochet. The bullet is traveling here and then it has the inside of the bone. It has caused direction, the change in the direction of the bullet. This is known as ricochet. So this double ricochet, if there is two times when the direction of the bullet is changed by striking the inside of the bone part, the brain. So there are different types where there is tangential entrance, contralateral. No need to remember them. Remember there is two types: external ricochet, internal ricochet. External ricochet is where there is intermediate object before striking the target, where the bullet hits the intermediate object before striking the target. Internal ricochet is where inside the body, because of the bony structures, the direction of the bullet can be changed inside the body. So wounds produced by the forearms, we can see in the next class. That is a very big topic. So we'll see what are the wounds, type of wounds that are produced by firearms, what are the penetrating wounds, and then how we can know by looking at the wounds from what distance the firearm has been fired, which is very important in a forensic aspect. So all these things we can learn in the next class. Thank you. We will close. Thank you for joining. Hope you learned something. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, we'll close.
ఏంటిది